I'm Bob Bakert with Jazz Guitar Today. We're here with Italian master, great virtuoso, Giuseppe Continenza from Italy, checking in with him to find out what's going on in his world and the world of guitar. Giuseppe, it's all yours, buddy. Go for it.
Yeah, thanks again for having me in your magazine. And I'm really honored to be always on this wonderful magazine. That is really a gem, and everybody read your magazine. Is so happy because there is not easy. I think it's not easy to publish and give room to all us guitar players from all over the world. You know. Anyway, I'm working on a.
Well, thank you. Let me just say thank you. It's our honor. It's a pleasure. So thank you.
You're really welcome, and I'm really honored. As I said, you know, I'm working on an album with Jim Bertoncini and Dominic Di Piazza, bass player Joe McLaughlin, and Pietro Iodice, very great drummer for Italy. We recorded a few years ago a tribute on Jobim, and we left there because there was so many different things going on.
Right.
And finally, I'm going back to this work, and it will be. I'm very satisfied because it's produced by me and Jim Bertoncini, and I'm very proud because I always want to record something with this man because he's one of the guitarists in the history with classical guitar, with no classical guitar. It's amazing. So plus his roots are Italians, you know, from Parma. You know?
Yeah, Bertoncini, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm going back to this work, and I'm very. I hope it will be very fine soon, and I'm really can't wait that it get out, this album.
Oh, that's now. Will you be playing your Benedetto archtop, or are you gonna be playing a nylon guitar?
I will play archtop. I will play classic also. It's nice because there is a very nice contrast.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
You know, he already did this project. He already recorded with Frank Vignola and Bucky Pizzarelli, all these guys, and Jack Wilkins. And it was nice. I really love this contrast between nylon string and steel strings. You know.
Oh yeah.
So I'm so proud about that because it's coming out very nice and very. We play so different, you know. And together it's kind of magic because he really is the person that is really in when he does a project, you know. And I was so proud that he asked me to produce together this album.
Wow, yeah.
That's great.
You know, he's somebody that has been on my radar screen for a long time. I've got to reach out to him and get him in the magazine. You know,
definitely.
He's never been in the magazine, and boy, he now that you know, there's so many great players, so little time, you know, but he's phenomenal, and he's got a very unique voice, and definitely got to get him. I'll have to reach out to him as soon as possible.
Because you know, it's really, I think especially in Europe, is really underrated because he played with Wayne Shorter. He played in this record, Supernova. You know, he played all the great. And he's great by himself, you know. So I think he really deserves maybe one day to be on the cover because he's really one of the best guitar players in the world. Like Joe Dior, you know, all these guys are.
Yeah. No, he gets, you know, everybody, you know, is nothing but huge praise for Gene. So yeah,
Gene is
got to make that happen. So
he's a very nice guy. Yeah.
Yes. How are things over in Italy right now? What's happening? Is the scene opening up at all, or is it closing back down, kind of like we're doing here, or what's happening?
Yeah, it's going back to normality. Thank God, you know, we are going back to the. Of course, everybody now we call green pass. You know, we have kind of passport, so we can play concert. We can go. I think maybe in US is the same, call in other way. So we start back again on the routine. You know, thank God. And I think it will be soon pretty much normal, the situation. It will take time a little bit, but we are going back. I was touring Spain, you know, 1 month ago. There was a little bit different because it was a little bit more closed, you know, because there was still a little bit more things about COVID. Italy is open up more, much more now, you know, much more.
So are you in your guitar studio? Because I see there's on the back
Yeah,
behind you
it's
there's a poster of something going on. So I can
yeah,
see.
there is a master class with Viral
Yeah,
again. With
so you're in. Do you have a guitar close by?
yeah, here, yeah.
Grab your guitar.
Yeah.
All right. So show us that guitar. What do you got in your hands?
This one is a
Yeah.
Buscarini guitar.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's a great luthier from Italy, you know.
Right.
Very, very nice. It's all made by hand.
Beautiful.
And he has a very, very acoustic sound, you know. I put in it a Gibson a BJB pickup.
Right.
And I have Barbera transducer.
Okay.
So I can mix a little bit of acoustic and electric together, you know.
Wow.
Here, yeah, he made for me this one.
That's
very, very interesting sound, you know.
Yeah, no, that you know, that's the holy grail right there, is, you know, getting
it's sound. This guy does very great guitar. See, all very details. Yeah,
oh yeah. So I have a question for you while we're in your own playing. What are you working on these days?
Yeah, you know, I was working, you know, when I was very lucky to study, for me is the best guitar player, jazz guitar player of all the history, Joe Diorio. You know, I was so lucky to study with him such a long time, and I still have his material, you know. Right. So I'm really working on interval, you know, because he really opened me up. You know, there was two teachers.
So I want you to put your camera down a little, tilt it down a little bit so we can see the neck of the guitar. There you go.
Like this, yeah. Yeah. I was working on.
You can almost turn it, go wide. Can you go wide with the camera now, or is that impossible? Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. That's great.
Yeah. So I was working with Joe Diorio, and there is another great guitar player.
Of course.
Don Mock. There was another one, Don Mock from Seattle.
Sure.
We work on intervallic design, no?
Right.
So we play scales. We design in fifth. We mix sixth, fifth together. So I'm still working on this material, you know?
Sure.
And I really open up my mind, because you can do so many things, you know? And, you know, I always say to my student in conservatory that the interval is like spices. You know, you don't have to put too much, because after they become too stuffed, you know what I mean? So I always say you do the rice with the spice, but not the spice with the rice. You know what I mean? Because it becomes too much, you know? So I try to integrate all these intervals. So when I play, etc., you know?
Very, very nice.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It sounds very wide. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So is that part of some music that you're working on now, or is that just what those are your scales and etudes and things that you go through on a daily?
I'm going to I practice now etude, you know. I do etude, you know. I try to integrate in some tunes. At first I get some standards, you know.
Right.
And I try to make fluid, you know, everything I want to learn. And I prefer to learn less, but put in my playing, you know.
Sure.
I think it's so important, you know. So I try to practice all these things. I try to mix with a little bit blues sound, you know.
Right.
Because that's the secret, you know. If you play blues, it sounds more natural, and to leave a lot of space, you know. Sure. Because usually guitar player tend to play too many notes sometimes, you know.
A lot of notes.
Everybody, you know, when you get two guitar players together, it's like two guns, they shoot each other, because, you know, it's normal, you know, even if you are very wide.
Sometimes just, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, some, you know, just, you know, and that was way too many notes, you know.
Nice.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes it's just, you know, it's just the right note to play, you know.
Yeah. But you know what? I think, you know, usually when I teach, you know, in conservatory especially, you know, I just teach the student, you know, when I was transcribing a lot of Charlie Parker, Joe Pass, you know, they use a lot of third when they play, you know.
Right.
So when you start to
tilt your camera up down a little so that we can see more of your face. We're cutting off the top of your head.
Like this, okay?
There you go. Stay there.
Yeah.
Don't move.
So when somebody play, you know, especially when you hear a player like Joe Pass,
right,
and many other, Robin Ford in blues,
sure,
etc. Yeah, they play many third, you know. Mm-hmm. So you know, I usually try to mix a lot of third with the interval, you know. So it sounds more natural, you know what I mean. And I'm working too about chord, you know. I try to learn tune like All the Things You Are. I try to play some modern chord.
Oh, that's so nice. Back up and do that. Back up and do that little cadence again. Show us what you're doing. No, not back up. No, play that little cadence.
I play again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All the Things You Are. Usually everybody play.
Sure.
The regular call, man. You know, like. Okay, I play modern.
Right. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I like that.
I like this element, especially when I do an intro, you know.
Sure.
After, when I go alone, I play solo guitar, I try to make it singing and swinging, you know, like.
I love that voicing. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that voicing. That big. It's almost like a diminished voicing that you're using.
Yeah. I like to play. When I do the bridge, for instance, invece di fare, instead of make. I do like a.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh, I love listen to that. That's great.
Etc. You know.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, I always found it's a lot easier to play with the guitars plugged in because you get a little help. You know, and you're pulling that off acoustically, which is, you know, much more difficult because you got to create all the sound, you know.
Yeah, you have to make the reverb with your hands.
But it's if you can do it with your hands, you can definitely do it with an amplifier.
Yeah.
Sure. People don't realize. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, and sometimes I work about working bass. No, I usually try to play sometimes with the pick, you know, because it make like it seems like Steve Vaughan and play working bass. No, when you do a blues, for instance.
Yeah. Right.
See, it gave very powerful, you know.
Sure.
Especially when I play in duo with Birelli, you know.
Yeah.
We pump each other. And I always say to the student, it's so important to make different kind of style, to play different kind of style, you know.
Right.
Because many jazz players are very great, but when they play together, they always play the same rhythm, you know.
Right.
It's important to make a variety, to play a samba, play a bossa, play some funky, some swing, and make it swing, you know. Because if you play a walkie like this, okay, nothing bad, nice, but there is no rhythm. You play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, you don't want a drummer doing that. You want him, you know, you want him pushing it and pulling it. And
you know, the audience listen. This is not just a guitar play; it's rhythm. You know.
Yeah. Music has got to be pushed and pulled and manipulated or time anyway, and all that to be interesting. Otherwise, you're listening to I'm sorry, I'm banging on. You're listening to a freaking metronome. You know, it's really funny. When I buy music or listen to music, I'm always looking for the live cuts. I never go to the studio because I don't know how many years is it now, 20, 25 years, everything's on a grid. You know, some guys do record live in the studio, but you know, so much music is on a grid, like there's no life. And so, you know, when you get when you're playing, you know, you want to push, you want to pull. I mean, tempo and rhythm and all that, that's one of the tools you have to work with. And if you do this,
That's it. That's
takes
it.
it away. No,
That's it.
I love that you're doing that. That's great. You know, and
Thanks.
pointing out the importance of it is a big deal. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's so important.
So your conservatory.
Yeah, no, here is my school, you know, it's my
right.
I have a private academy, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I teach conservatory, but we will start in October.
Oh,
the
okay.
lesson in conservatory, yeah.
All right. So how is all that looking? You got students, you know, I mean, because of the COVID thing and all that. I mean, I'm changing subjects on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you getting a lot of interest in, you know, coming forward for October?
Yeah, there is a lot of students, thank God, you know, many, and it was so good because we auditioned the student and
Sure.
we try to make in the really one who really are committed to jazz guitar, you know.
Right.
And it's so nice because in Pescara now they start a jazz club that he called Kid Love Viking, you know, that is a park. Right. They start to make some jazz. It's so important because all these guys from conservatory, they start to play in this club. Sure. And it's so good because they really can play the skill in front of people that really like jazz.
So somebody that comes to your school and wants to apply for school, what basic skills do they need to have to be accepted?
Usually, you know, I try first to see the talent. Right. First. Second, I'm really projecting myself on see what this guy is potentially can do in the future. Sometimes I prefer to get a guy that know less, but is more talented. Right. A guy that maybe know more, but is not so talented. Right. And for me, talent is in everything, you know, like 40, 60 degree. I mean, he like to study, like to play music, because I want to get out people who really play music, you know. You know, there is this guy from Nigeria I teach, Bobby Obafemi, you know, this guy is now 11 years old, you know, I teach online to him. He started really Bensonish, you know, he's incredible talent, I know if you saw him. And now he started to play some interval, some different chords. I try to push him in a direction that he doesn't copy too much. Because sometimes it's full of clone, you know, there are many clones of Mettini, Scofield, you know, but sometimes everybody mix together. And when you mix, you try to make your style different, you know, because you can be the same, you know.
No, so what do they typically do? They learn a couple. I mean, like I know that when I applied to school, you know, I had to learn, I think 3 pieces and had to demonstrate some scales and all this kind of stuff. But what do you make? What do you want them to do when they come in for their audition?
Yeah, when they do the audition conservatory in Pescara, they come and they play mostly. I usually ask 3 standards, you know, a ballad, a medium swing, and a blues. Okay. Right. And after they play good these things, I move further and ask arpeggios, basic scale, you know. Right. And the most of all, I just some reading, of course, and I really put them in a situation that they really need to create music. I don't stress them, you know what I mean? Right. I just want to make it comfortable, and they really have to give the best of themselves. You know?
I think it's wonderful that you're a performing concert musician that plays with the most, you know, the best people in the world. I mean, you play with Borelli, you know, you're playing with Gene. You play with everybody. There's a whole long list. If people want to know, just go on your website and start looking around. You know, you play with everybody, and then you also, you know, are so committed to teaching that you have your own, you know, conservatory over there, and you got all that going on. I mean, that's yay. It's tremendous. And you take the time to be a part of our family, you know, and send us articles and, you know, and do lessons for us and all that. And man, we really appreciate you. We really, really do. I'm going to have to make my next trip when, you know, when things calm down. I got to make a trip over there and hang out and eat some food with you and drink some wine and play a little music with you, and, you know, just have some fun.
Wonderful.
It's great. So we try to keep these things kind of short, but we've covered a lot. So is there something you'd like to, a message you'd like to get out there to everybody before we say goodbye?
Yes, no, my message is especially to young people, you know, and I just ask to people to go to attend concert, you know, It's so important. We don't have to lose. YouTube is great. Of course, it's a big thing. Everybody can get in the pocket, musician, you know.
Sure.
But go to attend concert. I met Birelli in a concert. You know,
Right.
I did 2 records with Vic Juris, and we met and we start to play together and make records. So it's going to concert really make you a live person, you know, and it's the fundamental of every musician.
You know, you mentioned Vic Juris.
Yeah.
The great Vic Juris, who passed away.
Yeah.
You know, last. Well, I guess it was last year. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but I have a text message from Vic Juris on my phone, and it's our last conversation. He was on our cover, you know, back a while ago, and then this is the you know, this is his, you know, his thanking us for being on the cover, and you know, and I don't have the heart to delete it.
Me too.
I cherish this text message that I got. You know, we had a little, you know, several messages, and
if you want, I can.
What a phenomenal talent he was, and universally loved by everybody. I know Dave Stryker was his neighbor, you know, across the street, you know, it hit Dave, you know, really hard, and so, you know, getting, and you know, God bless you, Vic, wherever you are, we know where you are. But at any rate, well, I still think, you know, getting back to what I was talking about with you, I think it's phenomenal that you're a world-class player. You get out there with all these guys, you know, you're always on the move and on the groove and looking to promote jazz guitar. You're doing, you know, in your own hometown, you got the great conservatory, you do the Zoom thing, you hang out with us. Man, you're just wonderful. I mean that.
Thanks. I'm totally normal.
You got great, but you have a great spirit. You know, you got a great spirit, and I really appreciate that.
If you want, if you, I can tell a short thing about Vic Juris. You know,
please.
A small story, because I met Vic Juris through Joe Diorio. You know,
right.
Once I called Joe Diorio and I say, "Oh, Joe, you know what? I would like to do a record with a great guitar player. You know, who think it can be good for me." Because he's a father for me, Joe Diorio. You have to call Vic Juris, you know. You know, and after we met, and we did 2 records together, actually. You know, one called Journey, another one, 7 Steps to Heaven, that was the best-selling on Amazon for kind of 2 months, you know.
Right.
And we toured together and everything. And believe me, Vic is one of the greatest, all-time great. He's very underrated because he deserves more. But because he's very incredible, he's so musical. He can play everything from acoustic to bebop to modern. He's one of the genius of our century, Vic. He was such wonderful person. I remember one thing, we did this record together, you know, and when we toured together, he said, "Giuseppe, do you have enough money? If not, I give you my money." Imagine, you know, imagine such a wonderful guy, you know, and I miss him so much.
Well, I think a lot of people feel that way, and they share your sentiments. Thank you for telling us that story.
Yeah, sorry if I take time.
No, we're listen. No, the stories like that. Are you kidding me? We'll take all the time in the world. So I want to thank you again for coming on today. We really appreciate catching up, and you know, anytime you got something you want to tell us, you know, give me a shot. Hey, Bob, you know, I'm in. Okay, you know.
Thank you.
Our magazine is your magazine, if you know what I'm saying.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for all you do for this community.
So this is Bob Bakert with Giuseppe Continenza from Italy, saying thanks, and thanks, you know, and goodbye, and so long. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Bye-bye.